Hello, dreamers, doers, believers, and achievers. I'm Dwayne Shigg, and welcome to another issue of Talking Books. This is a place for people who like books, reading them, or writing them. And we have today a guest that's going to help you with whatever different subjects, different issues that you may be dealing with, and so it's going to make a difference. So that's why we want to talk to our guest today, Mr. N.J. Porter, author of the book Carman. Thank you so much. How are you today, sir?
Pretty good, sir. I definitely want to thank you for having me on your show.
Oh man, I appreciate it. Need to have more information. More people need to read books, and so we want to make sure that those people who like books, they get contact with you. And so I want to talk about your book, Carman, Karman. Interesting title. How'd that title come about?
Uh, Believe it or not, I remember after having a dream about a young girl being bullied, and of course going after people that she felt offended her years later. Um, I I felt that if anyone were to be attracted to the story, that the title needed to have some type of appeal to it.
Mm-hmm.
And evidently, if someone's seeking revenge on someone, it's more along the lines based off of karma.
Right,
So I figured, well, you know what? You never really hear Carmen spelled the way that I spelled it.
right.
So I wanted to try something new. In addition to, I wanted to be able to have the title reflect what the sole purpose of the story was about.
Okay, good. How long have you been writing?
I started writing this story in 2011. Believe it or not, this is actually my first novel.
Okay.
Um, yes, sir. I wasn't really expecting to write this book. Um, I had just graduated University of South Florida, so my focus was actually trying to get my social work career going.
Okay.
But again, when I had that premonition, about a day or two later, I figured, you know what, that ought to be a really good story to write about. But I've never written a story before, so I just took my time and uh, slowly developed one chapter after another
Right.
on how I would like the story to be told.
Okay.
Um, because there's so many stories about like the story of gosh, what is that? Um, Everybody tells me about her every time I tell them my story.
Oh, really?
Carrie, Carrie. So
Okay.
every time you hear the story Carrie, everyone talks about
Right.
the bullying and how she went after the people at the prom.
Right.
Well, that was another twist I wanted to put in my story was I didn't want the young girl to be the focus of the story.
Oh,
So what I did was I made the detective the focus of the story and have everybody follow along with the detective, dealing with the crime scene. I didn't introduce Carmen into the story until I think chapter 8. Chapter 8 was when Carmen was introduced into the story.
oh, okay. So, for those that are watching, if you just come in, this is Talking Books, and we're talking to Brother Nate Porter, and he's the author of Carman. Interesting title. Give us a basic overview of what the book is about.
So the young lady Carmen was bullied in high school.
Mm.
Um, the idea is years later, she never really got over the fact that she had gone through that torment. In
Hmm.
addition, she was actually sent to a psych ward to get help for these challenges. Um, with the detective in the story, the detective is actually working. She is a veteran detective who's been working homicide for many years. When he first um, when he first um, get assigned the first case in the story, he realizes this case is a lot more bizarre than what he's used to.
Right.
Um, and then he realizes, of course, when he finds the footprints along the side of the wall next to a fire escape.
Okay.
Um, it baffles him because he's never seen that before.
Right.
And then the next night, he actually the next night there was another murder, which he
Wow.
was also assigned to, and he realized that there was footprints, the same footprints from the murder scene before, a few days ago. He now has to respond to this one and figure out, okay, who's doing this? Because this is not, this is not your normal crime. This is,
Right.
and if it is a serial killer, we need to hurry up and find this person because they're opening up walls and all sorts of whatnot.
Right. So
Um,
this is a suspense novel, murder mystery, all of that rolled up into one, right?
yes, sir.
Okay.
Uh,
Now, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, 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 it's okay. With my interest in, of course, I'm a huge Twilight Zone fan.
Oh,
I
okay.
love Twilight Zone. As I got older, Stephen King became more of my strongest horror adversaries,
Right.
um, and as well as Wes Craven.
Craven. Yeah. Oh,
So I
interesting.
wanted to try and uh, collaborate pretty much all those ideas and put them into my story to keep, I feel, would actually keep a lot of horror fiction readers very well in tuned and interested in reading the book from beginning to end.
Interesting. Interesting. Are there, from your experience or your knowledge, are there a lot of blacks who read and like horror or science fiction or the type of books that you're writing?
So far, so far, I'm shocked that how many people have actually bought my
Really?
novel.
Oh, good.
Um, it seems that evidently, I guess when it comes to murder mystery,
Hmm.
when it comes to trying to figure out what's going to happen next, um, having that constant attention on the storyline throughout the whole story seems to be what at least people that whom I know, like family members and friends, they seem to be really interested in storylines such as that.
That's good. That's good. Now, while this is a novel about bullying, murder mystery, some people write things of that nature, but they've got an underlying story or message. Is that the case with yours, or it's novel murder mystery scare you? We're not trying to teach you nothing. We're just trying to scare you. or is there an underlying story?
I would like to believe so, and the reason why I say that is because again, I've never seen myself writing a story.
Okay.
I've never really had the interest. I believe that that dream I've had um, about this young girl being bullied, and more importantly, the storyline coming all the way up to the end
Mhm.
um, was, I mean, if you're a religious person, I know I am. Um, I felt that that was more of a responsibility for me to get this message out regarding people dealing with bullying and
Right.
those that are causing the bullying.
Oh,
Um, for my storyline, the premise of the novel is to help everyone understand that bullying is not something that only lasts for a few years. Like people who get bullied in high school, once they graduate
wow.
high school, it goes away. It doesn't go away. People
Really?
still remember these things. It still affects them.
Okay.
And so again, with this young lady here, she's been out of high school for years, but it
Okay.
still bothers her. And
Right.
because she was trying to get help, um, evidently the help wasn't sufficient enough,
Right.
um, considering what she felt like she wanted to do to the people that bullied her.
Right. So this
Um,
is a great entertaining, a lot of entertainment in this
oh
novel.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
that's great. That's great. Who is the audience that for this book?
I'm definitely looking at young adults all the way up to, of course, older adults.
Okay.
But I'm hoping that I get uh, young teens as well.
Ah,
And and the reason for that is because again, it just seems like the bullying begins at the middle school level.
okay.
Maybe if not younger, I'm sure, but middle school level, it just seems like it's like free for all for bullies.
Wow.
They just run rampant, and you got teachers, you got school staff and whatnot that don't, they try to, I guess, make things happen to better the, to reduce the bullying. But
Right.
I've grown up, and I still remember, times when I got bullied. I still
Yeah.
remember them, and I'm
Okay.
actually 42 years old.
Okay. Oh, okay. So as you said earlier, it kind of stays with you after, ongoing. Because a lot of times people think, okay, that happened when you was 13. Now you're 27 or you're 42. So, get over it or whatever the case may be.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. 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 And when a person, the people that read this book, is there a particular takeaway? Is there something that the book's going to do for them? What is the takeaway after after the reading?
The takeaway I would say is twofold. And of course, the first message I wanted to definitely pass along to everyone is to have them understand that when you bully someone, it can be a long-term effect.
Uh-huh.
There's no, I guess there's really no techniques or anything like that to help these people get past these. It's their own personal feelings or matters or whatever it is that causes them to have this constantly overbearing on them mentally
Mm-hmm.
for years to come.
Right.
The second part of the story, or the second message of the story, would be, um, and this is in regards to those that have been bullied, those who've experienced these traumatic situations, these incidents. In the story, it actually teaches you how to forgive, or at least consider forgiving,
Okay.
because in all honesty, that's probably going to be the only way that you're going to be able to let go of all this anger and frustration.
Wow.
So I
Wow.
wanted to make sure that, there's I wanted to make sure that the story had both important messages in one, one fell swoop. I shouldn't have to make another book to talk about forgiveness and
Okay.
whatnot. It ought
Okay.
to be in one story. Therefore, both the person that is bullying as well as the person that experienced bullying, they both can actually say, all right, you know what? I see where he's going with this, and I don't want to, cause harm to no one. And more importantly, the person that's thinking, well, maybe I should go after them. No, I don't want to go after them. I'm just going to let it be. Maybe they didn't know what they were doing. I don't know. I just know I need to forgive them so I can rest.
It's powerful. If I'm understanding correctly, you did a powerful thing by combining entertainment, but also helping. And so I
Yes,
think
sir.
that's very good. That's very powerful. See, you're a lot better than I am. See, the books that I write, just have one straight. This is what it is. Get this. So
Yes, sir.
maybe one day when I grow to be a better writer or a great writer like you, I can have multi things going on in one book.
Well, I definitely appreciate that. So
So,
I wasn't expecting this. So I give all honor, and I kid you not, I give all honor to God for this story. All
oh,
I did was sit down and type it.
well, that's great. Good vessel. If you're just joining us, this is Talking Books, and we're talking Brother Nate Porter. He is the author of Card Man, a great book. Talking has a lot of different messages in it. And so, how can people get the copy of the book? How can they get their copy?
They can visit my website, which is at www.njportercarman with a K.com. Both I have the ebooks that are both available through Barnes and Nobles as well as Amazon, and I also have my PayPal link, which is the paperback version.
Okay.
And if you purchase the novel through the paperback or through PayPal, then you would actually get a signed copy, because I can actually mail the books to you.
Okay. You said your website. They can go to Amazon or they can go to your website. Give us your website.
The website is www.njportercarman.com.
That's Carmen, Karman.
Yes.
Okay. And if someone wants to contact you, they want to contact you for workshops or anything of that nature, how can they reach you?
They can reach me on Instagram. I'm at Jersey Arthur. LinkedIn, that's Jersey Arthur as well. They can also reach me on Twitter at NJ_Porter and Facebook at Carmen a Novel.
Great, great. So what writing, what has this book, what has the book done for you? The writing experience, this whole experience, how has that affected you?
I would say definitely gave me, it made me feel more capable of being able to, I guess you can say, handle such a task.
Hmm.
Writing a book takes, my God, it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of focus. I mean,
Yes.
just going from chapter 1 to chapter 2, it's mentally draining because it's, I mean, for most people, they can probably just, I don't know, they can come up with their, I guess, their own fantasy way of sliding into that. But me,
Right.
I don't just want to cut off one chapter and just jump into another one. I like
Okay.
to try and ease into the other chapter.
Oh, okay.
And so that's where I found it a little more challenging for me, going from one chapter to the next, because again, you want to find a way to be able to ease into that chapter, not skip anything or miss the opportunity of actually, I don't know, even just describing, the night or the day. All those things, in my opinion, mattered in my story anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to make sure that um, I had or was ready to move into the next chapter um, with relative ease, um, with the idea of knowing that if I were to read this story, I don't feel like I'm missing anything when I go
Ah,
to
okay.
chapter 3. When I
Okay.
go to chapter 4, I want to still feel like I'm actually moving right along with the storyline and I'm not missing anything.
Great, great. We've got about a minute or two. Talk to the people and tell them why they need to buy this book.
I definitely encourage a lot of people if they're interested in reading horror, horror fiction novels. This is definitely a great horror fiction novel in itself because it definitely keeps you on edge. It keeps you focused. It keeps your attention going when you're following the detective. I've definitely been very descriptive about a
Uh,
lot of things,
okay.
especially the murders. I've been
Okay.
very descriptive on a lot of things.
Okay.
Um, but most importantly, again, the storyline focuses on bullying, the ramifications of bullying, the long-term effects that bullying can have, but more importantly, the focus on forgiving,
Mm.
uh, and that forgiveness can be, of course, whether it's with bullies, with family members, with friends, whatever it is. Bullying is, in my opinion, anyway, bullying is. A technique that can help you relieve that anger and frustration. If you're willing to forgive that person, you will definitely see a difference in your mentality.
All right. That's great. That's great. Give us one more time how people can get a copy of the book and how they can reach you. We want to make sure, as we close, we want to make sure they get that information so that they can go to the place and get copies of your book.
Oh, yes, sir. You can definitely visit my website at www.njportercarman, that's KARMAN.com. You can access both my ebooks through both Amazon as well as Barnes and Noble on that website, or you can purchase the paperback through my PayPal link, which is also on that website. If for some reason you're having trouble with the website by just plugging it into the search, just Google the website and you'll be able to access it through there.
Okay. And if they want to contact you for speaking or teaching or anything, they can go through those same
Yes.
methods. Okay.
Yeah.
All right then. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Brother Porter. We greatly appreciate it. Here on Talking Books, you've been watching Talking Books, the place for authors and readers, people who like books, reading them or writing them. If you're an author and you want to talk about and promote your book, contact us at drshigg@gmail.com. That's drshigg@gmail.com. And I want to say thank you to you, Brother Porter, for taking out the time, because I know you're a busy person, but I greatly appreciate it that you came on the show and let the people know about your book.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Dr. Shigg. You take care of yourself.
Not a problem. Hold on one second. Not a problem. So to all of those readers, fiction, you like horror, you need to get a copy of this book. And we thank you for being with us on Talking Books. If you want to follow me, you can follow me at Instagram at @encourageman, the letter N, Courage Man. If you happen to miss some of the Talking Book episodes, you can follow them. You can see them on YouTube, Dwayne Shigg, Talking Books with Dwayne Shigg. And as always, want you to remember that the dream is doable, so go get it. Stay encouraged. Be blessed.